Guys, welcome. Welcome along to this video. Not done a video for a few days. I've been struck down with the COVID, but not too bad, just like a mild cold. But I'm back, and today I'm going to try and attempt to do a complete oil change, okay? So we're going to try and locate the sump nut, the drain, undo it using the tools that we've got. We're going to try and drain it down, pop the new oil filter in, and fill it up with oil, okay, fresh oil. So remember, these aren't how-to video, guys. These are just like me having a go, seeing if I can do it with the tools and the resources that I've already got, or whether I can't, and hopefully by doing this and putting it online, someone else will benefit from it. All right, so let's have a go. Okay guys, so I'm on the right hand side of the scooter, and you'll see here we've got the drain, we've got the oil filler there. So if we come down underneath, we're looking for the drain point, just under the exhaust here. And I'm guessing that it's this one here. Get my finger on there, it should come into focus. There. Okay, so we're going to undo that. We're going to get the washing up bowl underneath. We're going to drain the oil, replace the filter, which looks straightforward to do, and then I'm going to refill it. Okay, should be straightforward. Let's see. Okay guys, so I'm going to try this just with a closed-ended spanner, manual. See how we do. We'll get that on there. So the bike's on its centre stand, it's moving a little bit. How easy is it to get this undone? Let's see. Easy because the bike moves. So not easy because the bike moves around. Maybe this is where I could do with an impact wrench to get that off. Maybe I can tap it with a hammer. So guys, this closed-ended spanner is slipping on the bolt, and it's just starting to potentially damage the edges of the bolt. So I'm not going to use it. I'm going to try and get a decent socket set. Get a bit more leverage on it, get a proper socket on there, and see what we can do. Alright, back shortly. So you see just there, it's just starting to shear the edge of the bolt there, so I'm not going to use that one, don't want to make it any worse, and I'll get a decent socket on there and we should be good. Alright. So guys, I'm back, and I've invested in my first set of tools for a job. Little basic socket set, local hardware store, 15 quid. Quality is probably not brilliant, you know, made in the Far East, but isn't everything these days, and I'm sure it'll do the job. All right, so I've located the correct size socket, and if you can see here, where are we? Here, right, get the bearings, there we go, right, where my finger is there, that is the sump nut. I'm going to move the camera in there a little bit, and we're going to try and get this socket on it and see if we can get it. Okay, now washing up holes a little bit in the way. That's the right size. Straight away guys, it's moving. Now, am I doing it up or am I undoing it? Let's get this right. So, anti-clockwise is doing it up. I need to go the other way. Yeah, switch that round. Let's go this way. Hopefully we're going to get a nice flow of oil coming out. Yeah, it's moving. Can move it by hand now. Ready for this? I can feel the spring on the back. It's kind of pushing a little bit. Keep going with this a little longer. There we go. There we go, guys. Look, black gold Texas tea pouring out. I'm just going to drop that down. Let that oil pour. Look at that. Can you see it? See it pouring down there. That's the oil coming down. So I'm just going to let that drain. Let it drip. And you see here we've got the filter, and that's sat on the spring which sits inside the bolt. So it should be straightforward to swap and top up. I'm not sure if we're catching that alright on camera. It's draining. Okay guys, so I've let the oil drip. It dripped for about 2 or 3 minutes, turned into a drip, and it's still dripping about once every 5 to 10 seconds. Alright, so it's pretty much drained. And here, I'm just going to take out that old oil filter. Okay, pop it down. Take the new filter and pop it in. Alright, it should be straightforward. So we're going to pop that back in, tighten it up, and then we're going to fill it with oil. Alright, let's hope this is as straightforward as the drain down. The thing is, at this angle it's difficult to see. But I guess I can move the bowl now, right? Let's try moving that bowl out of the way. I'll put a little bit of roll down just so we don't get oil everywhere, because it is still dripping ever so slightly. Alright, and now I'm going to try and get under and pop this back in. In it goes. There we go, you just offer it up, push it in, and now you've got the spring pushing back a little bit. But I'm hoping that is going to be straightforward, so I need to change the direction and we're good to go. Let's try and get it into the thread so we're not cross-threading it. Don't want to mess it up, guys. Oh, this is a bit tricky, right? You've got oil dripping everywhere. Try and push it in by hand first. It's kind of hard because it's pushing itself back out with the spring. Not as easy as you thought. Guys, not as easy as you think. Now I'm covered in oil, it's still dripping out a little bit. Nothing is ever as straightforward as you think it's going to be, is it? Eh? Nothing is ever as straightforward. I could have done with some latex gloves, I think, on this. covered in it. You live and you learn though, right? It's all a learning experience. So, the problem is the spring pushes it back, so it's not actually that easy to get the thread in. One more go. Push that up, offer it up. Try and keep it pushed in as you turn it. And it wants to ping back out. Be really careful that we don't cross thread it or we don't ruin it. Cannot get that to sit in there at all. Any tips, guys? Any tips? Feels like it's in. Yes, guys, we're in. Woo! Got it in. It's seated correctly and it's turned. I've got the oil filter in, so now I'm going to tighten it up. Okay. Yes. Job's a good one, guys. Bit fiddly. So it took me, what, about 2 or 3 minutes to get it in there. But now we're tightening it up. Just starting to tighten now. There we go, we're in. Excellent. Just gonna give that a wipe down, it's a bit messy under there. So, when you take it out, it drips a little bit out of the sump and just runs onto the underneath of the engine. Give it a little wipe. Okay, so, straightforward. A little bit fiddly getting that spring back in. I'm just going to tighten it up a bit more. Make sure it's fully tight. There we go. There we go. Nice and tight. It's fully tight, don't want any leaks. And now it's time to fill it up again. Okay guys, so I've got my new 1 litre of oil, which we're going to undo. Take this cellophane off it. It's time to top up. So, by all intents and purposes, these scoots take about 800 millilitres, is what the general consensus is. So we're going to give it a try. Make sure I don't overfill it. Okay. So this is 1 litre, so I'll go for it and hold my funnel and we're good to go. Can you see that? Holding the funnel. Not too much because I don't, I've overloaded it, look, it's dripping out of there. Right, so that is definitely too much in one go. I poured a little too much in there, you can see it dripping down onto the floor. So don't put it in too fast, guys, don't put it in too fast. You've got to put a tiny bit in and then let it drain down. Okay. A little bit more. Just a tiny bit. And then let that go. It's going to make a nice smell when I start her up. Burning oil. A little bit more. I reckon I've put about a third of it in there. So probably what, about 300 ml? A bit more. Just a little bit at a time to avoid that overfilling when it comes out of the filler. Okay, so I've put about 230 and what I'm going to do is take that out. I'm going to start the engine, I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and then I'm going to start the engine and then I'm going to check it with the dipstick. Okay. Pop the dipstick back in, tighten it up. I'm going to let the engine run for a couple of minutes. Now, she's not been started for a couple of weeks, so hopefully she'll start first time. We shall see. Okay, let it cool. I'm pleased it started first time after a couple of weeks of not being used. In the cold as well, I've had some pretty cold temperatures. So that's good. I have been charging the battery a little bit on a trickle charger, but I think the charger is too big. It's one that I borrowed off somebody, so I'm going to get a different one. Let's have a look at that now. The dipstick a wipe. Stick it back in. Don't need to screw it in, pull it out. Yeah, so it's just on the bare minimum. So it needs a little bit more there, right? It needs a little bit more. Get our foil again. Our funnel, sorry. Stick that in there. Get our oil. Just a little bit more needed. And this time I won't overfill. Shake. I'm going to run it again now for a few minutes and then let it cool again. Let's just see where that's at now before we run it. It's just nearly up to the max already. Yeah, it's sitting perfectly just at the top end of the stick, right? Like, you know, within the top end of the markings. So I'm going to put that back in there. We're going to run it again for a few minutes, then let it cool. I think we're about spot on there. So guys, changing the oil, complete oil change with the filter. Straightforward, yes. A little bit fiddly, yes. What did I learn? Could have worn some latex gloves, which would have made it maybe a little less messy. And you need the correct tools, so make sure you've got a socket set with the correct size socket, makes life easier. The last thing you want to do is ruin that nut, that sump nut. So I'm glad that I went out and invested in the tools, which will be used again, right? They're going to come in handy, so good investment for 15 quid. And a little bit fiddly getting that spring back in, right? Because it's pushing back against you, so to get it aligned and get the threads aligned correctly was a little fiddly, but what did it take? About 2 or 3 minutes of messing around, and then it's done, all right? So one final check now of the oil level. I'm hoping it's going to be spot on, and then we're done. Just give that a wipe. Yeah, spot on. It's just at the top of the markings for the maximum level. Double check it. Yeah. That is about spot on, guys. Amazing. Right, so perfect. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's right at the very top of the marks, right? So I'm going to tighten that back up. So oil change, oil filter done. Air filter done. Next job, spark plug and belt, right? I'll be honest with you, I haven't got a clue where the spark plug is, but I'm going to find out, alright? Coming soon, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.